Hello, my name is Manex. I am a spiritual guide and have been for 20 years, helping people grow into the understanding of consciousness, spirit consciousness, and initiating people into nature and guiding people to understand the practical use of spirituality. So today, I really wanted to bring up how to have incredible relationships, attracting and mastering conscious and soulful relationships. I have a webinar on Soulvana about this, and you can kind of get into that. But here's the podcast essence, and basically the first point of what is a soulful, conscious relationship. I think most of us want to be with somebody and we want to share our life, and we're sold from the idea of our parents first, and then from culture within every book, every movie, everything, that this partnership of man and woman is something that's beautiful and needed and what we should all be seeking. And even if your sexual orientation is different, there's still this need for partnership. And why is that? And I really contemplated. I spent a lot of time alone. I like being alone. I like being by myself. I like my presence. I'm self-interested in a way and self-loving. And that's what I like to see. Some others might say narcissistic, but it's not. It's more self-sustainable and self-loving about my whole being and not being afraid of being alone. Yet, in my contemplation for months, being alone, I realized that it's impossible to be completely self-sustainable by yourself. No matter what, at some point, you need the other. And it's actually a beautiful feature of being human. So the other has something to offer our unique individuality. And the more that we actually interact with the other, the more we become experts at our own perception and become experts at our own unique expression. Because each person will have a different filter. Each person will bring a different, unique perspective on us. And therefore, it challenges us to bring the essence of who we are into that dynamic exchange and that communion for that moment, whether it's with a mailman, whether it's with the store clerk, whether it is, whoever, your partner, your brother, sister, father, mother. So all of us are born into family, and we all have our mother and a father. And those are your base, of relationships. And they actually form a tremendous aspect of your understanding of your psyche and your being, and it's part of the conditioning that you really need to kind of undo. Now, the conscious and soulful relationship is based on understanding yourself consciously and understanding your soul so that you understand what your soul is capable of, what your gifts are, what your strengths are, and what your weaknesses are, and what your shadows are, so that you can be authentic in your expression of actually what you need and what is your partnering capacity, what is the potential of the relationship, right? That you're going to bring to yourself to grow, to learn, to evolve. And I think that's really the key. So learning who you are, learning how to decondition the early patterns of your mother and your father, which actually I find to be the wounds, which because of the wounds that we never really got the love that we wanted because we didn't come out with a manual. And so our parents didn't really know how to love us like how we are, and we wanted to be loved. So we're eternally seeking this other soulmate, in quotes, that will understand us perfectly and therefore be compatible with us because of those wounds. And the ego gets created to protect us from these wounds and not to go into them all the time, which would be very difficult to achieve anything else. And since we need to survive, most of the time we need to get over that. And actually, this is very important, is to first analyze the wounds. Secondly, go into those wounds and heal those wounds so that you're basically bringing down the ego and you're able to be vulnerably authentic to who you are in your essence. And that's actually the key to having a conscious, soulful relationship. You have to have that relationship with yourself first. And the only way to do that is by deconditioning yourself. So the first part is to understand that each of us have 5 different types of relationships. Humans have 5 different relationships that define us, that help us understand who we are and our uniqueness. So there's 5 relationships that each human has. And the first one is with people. Obviously with your parents first, and then your social circle expands from your family to then your friends, then strangers, etc. in the world. So people, how do you relate to people, right? And the first thing to really understand is you are the one that's relating to the other, right? So you need to understand the you perspective. And usually the people are giving you advice and reflections about who you are. They'll give you compliments, they'll give you critiques, they'll judge you, they'll project on you. I mean, there's just so much. Now, secondly, there's things. And hopefully those things are, books, for example, which can teach you a lot of things. They can be your toys, they can be your bed, they can be your clothes, they can be all sorts of things. And we're very attached to things because they somehow are vehicles, literally, to express your uniqueness. They're vehicles that can identify or reflect aspects of you. And at first, it's an experience. What kind of bed? Is it soft? Is it hard? Is it big? Is it small? Is it cozy? Is it not cozy? What is it? And that defines how you like to sleep, for example. Same thing with your clothes. What kind of clothes do you like to wear? Do you like to wear clothes? Maybe you're a nudist. Maybe you're a fashion diva and you love extravagance. And maybe you don't care so much about clothes and what you look like. So that gives you an understanding of yourself as well. And the things that you have are usually related to what you do. So then that's the third thing, is kind of your situation. Are you the older brother, the older sister? Are you the son of this person? Are you in this class at this point, a student, or are you a professional? What is your career? What's your situation, right? And again, it's you being active in playing a role, what you do. And that teaches you a lot about yourself. What makes you happy, what doesn't make you happy, right? What are things that you can choose and what are things that you can't choose, like being the son of or the father of to, or the brother or sister of. You can't change those things, but you can change other things, like the different situations of your jobs, the different situations of how you are acting in society, in your culture. Are you a cultivated person, or do you not care about education? Are you a reader, leader, learner, or just a doer? And then the fourth is your environment, whether it's your house, whether do you like to be in a city, do you like to be in the country, do you like to be, by the shore, by the river, in a forest? What's your environment? You're a cave person? Are you a marketplace person? Do you like action in the cities? Are you a mountain person that likes to see from above? Are you at the edge, always of society, wherever that is, maybe on the shore? So the environment also tells you so much about you. And this goes deeply into your body, in a sense. And your environment's also going to dictate, to a certain degree, your diet and how you nourish your body. And it's very important because it tells you a lot about who you are. And the fifth is about your spiritual relationship to yourself and to the world. But it's the spiritual world, in a sense, your spirit, your soul essence. Who are you? And that last one is actually the one that's the most important, because when you understand that, you actually have much more meaning and much more clarity on who is looking and relating to all the other situations, the environment, the situation, the things, and the people. And when you really tune in to your spirituality, when you really tune in to who you are and how you relate to yourself, you really start shifting all of those relationships that were probably handed to you, given to you, or forced upon you, depending on where you were born, depending on what class you were in, meaning financially, etc., etc. In attracting and mastering soulful conscious relationships, first, there's the definition of the relationship, right? What is a conscious relationship? Well, it's being in an aware relationship with yourself that relates to the other. Secondly, what are these relationships? How do you define relationship? So there's those 5 aspects of relationships. Relationships with people, with things, with situations, with environment, and with yourself or your spirit. And then the cultivation of that relationship. Each of those relationships is something that you need to put energy into and cultivate so that you can really get an understanding of how you feel and interact and how you are within each of those things. And that's very important, is to put the energy, be committed to these relationships. Having a car and then not doing anything about it, never driving, you're blocking the purpose of that relationship, which is that it's a vehicle that's meant to teach you how you are driving yourself in life, through life. blocking yourself from being in a relationship, whether it's sexual or in a partnership that is romantic, you're blocking yourself from having that capacity within you as a human to take on that potential that the human has in learning what that is. Therefore, you're also blocking a situation as who are you as a lover? Who are you as an employee? Who are you as an employer? Who are you as a student? These kind of things. So being thirsty and hungry to evolve and to grow through these 5 relationships is so important. And in a sense, this is why spirituality is so key and valuable, is because the more you gain knowledge about your unique self and you go deeper into understanding your unique soul essence, that is that fractal uniqueness from unity consciousness, and that we're all one, all together, walking each other back home to one, means that your uniqueness is super valuable. And cultivating that uniqueness and really understanding the perspective is done through relationships as well as tools. So you can learn tools. You can learn through a master teacher, a guide that can help you understand your perspective and yourself and your mechanics, in a sense, and even your soul essence, your energetic awareness. And that's part of the spirituality, is really understanding the unseen mechanics of how we work, so that you can really give so much more of yourself to each relationship, whether it's a thing, a person, an environment, situation. You don't have to be defined, for example, by your situation. You don't have to be the worker, or the garbage guy or the CEO. Like, that's not you. It's you in a role that's available. And your uniqueness is how are you a CEO rather than how to be like other CEOs. It's a real gift. The real value is how unique are you as a CEO, as a garbage man, as a cleaner, whatever it is. And that's when you start applying conscious relationship to your life. And by doing that through committed efforts and through repetition is how you really learn how to master your relationships. Again, thanks for listening. My name is Manex Ibar. You can find out more information at manexibar.com. It's MANEXIBAR.com. And check out the different courses and the immersions that are on this platform. And enjoy wherever you are and whatever time it is. Find your presence and love yourself with blessings.